just in time again. Guys, good morning, good evening, good night, no matter where you are. Um, I don't know why we do this to Chris, but we're here again for another live launch. Chris is up at 3 in the morning. My name's Liam. I'm one of the Hustle Brothers here with my good friend Christopher Bell. And Chris, we're here for another launch. How are you feeling, brother?
I think I'm awake. I was so mad, man. I didn't reset my alarm from the last time we scrubbed on this one, so I've been waking up unexpectedly around 2:30 every night for like 4 or 5 days now.
Oh,
I should be used to this, but no, I'm not.
the body
Because all the
clock's
other
like
nights,
set for it.
yeah, no, I'm going right to bed as soon as this thing is done, and I'm working in the morning.
Oh, so you
I'm
can chill
curious
out
about
for a
it.
bit.
Yo, yeah, I saw earlier that people were just going to stay up all night and wait for it. Good luck with that. I think I'd rather have that nap in between. But yeah, if you guys are actually up and watching this, congrats. Especially if you're excited. I'm just trying to make my way through it. I'm sure I'll get more enthusiastic as we get closer to launch.
Guys, jump into the chat and please let me know what time it is where you are and did you stay up all night? Or were you like me? It's go at 7 in the morning here. I'm feeling quite good. Crack on with doing a bit of farming later, then yeah, I want to chill out and watch Rocket Lab Weekly. The guys have been great. I want to chill out and watch them later. But we have Monty Smith here. Greetings from Central Valley of California, Sacramento, the state capital. Mate, what time is it there? Did you stay up? Californian time is that 3 hours after you? 11. Oh, 11:46.
Brilliant.
That's actually not too bad, So you haven't even been to bed yet. Isn't it wild, yeah? I've been to bed. It's what is that? This 6:47 in New Zealand. That's chill. Chris, we got this announcement literally straight after the last launch. Do you think there's going to be a big announcement at this launch? There's something happening in Rocket Lab at the moment. You've seen we've smashed past all-time highs. I didn't get any indication that they joined the Russell, but there is some news going around about Lockheed and the Mars Sample Return mission. Do you think we'll get any sort of announcement in this?
They're usually really good at very least dropping a few clues, give us something more to speculate more on tomorrow. It's gonna be a long weekend if we don't get any news. That's for sure. The Lockheed thing was. I saw something earlier too, where someone said, "Well, why doesn't Lockheed just buy out Rocket Lab?" And I guess with a lot of companies, you go public, there's always that possibility you can get bought out. But the thing about Rocket Lab is they're more than just Peter Beck. There's a culture there, and I think it takes a certain kind of mindset to be able to achieve all that they have. And if a company like a Lockheed were actually to come in and try and buy them out, honestly, I think most of the people would just quit and walk away. It wouldn't want to work for a company like a Lockheed. Beck is the captain of a ship, and people follow him into the most craziest of seas. That has nothing to do with price jump, of course. I think a lot of this stuff's just been overdue. I hear people say all the time, "This has been priced in, and this has been priced in." Well, damn it! If the price is not going up, or if anything going down, it ain't priced in. It's just not. people forget about a lot of the things they've already accomplished in just in the last few months, and it takes a while for the markets to pick up on that. So yeah, it could be the Russell. It could be a glimmer of hope in the Mars sample return mission. I don't think that's what it was. I think a lot of it's just FOMO and some of the bigger institutions realizing, hey, if and when these things do happen, we're going to miss out. So it's better to get in now. And I mean, I think it's still early. I do. It's not crazy to think of, we could double in price by the end of the year if Neutron is successful. That's not. Look what ASTS has done just in the last 60 days. I don't think it's impossible to think we can get that far. I'm not predicting that. It's not financial advice. I hate having to say that all the time, but yeah, that's just my 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning rants with no sleep. I'm probably 100% wrong, but I don't care. I'm tired.
I'm quite excited about tomorrow. Speaking to Amperman and Stock Meetups about ASTS and learning a little bit more about the company. Look, I'm going to be dead honest. I have very, very basic knowledge when it comes to ASTS. I can't wait to pick their brains when it comes to it. When it comes to the Russell, when it comes to Lockheed, the only thing that, look, as a long-term investor, it doesn't scare me, but the only thing I can see coming into Monday, because we haven't had that Russell announcement, and if we don't get an announcement here, no, it wouldn't surprise me if we pull back a little bit, maybe $30. But look, I think the sun's shining at the moment at Rocket Lab. With so many catalysts coming up, the big one in Neutron. But like, if we find out they have been announced as joining the Russell, is it going to be a sell the news moment? Is it going to be a, right, we were expecting that to come this week, that's why we smashed all-time highs, and now it's a bit like, let it settle down for a bit? Or could you see, like some of the guys were saying, we'll push past and go into the $40? I've seen some people call them for 44 yesterday.
I did. I saw the same thing. And let's say it's not Russell. What if it's we're overdue for some updates on Neutron? It could be something. It could be something about Neutron. It could be nothing. It's fun to speculate. But yeah, it's for the newer investors. It could be very easily could be a sell news kind of opportunity.
Quickly before they jump in, Brett says according to ChatGPT, we're already in the Russell 1000. It's just a formality and will show on the list on the 30th. That could be big, and that'd be as the market closes Monday, if I imagine. We might find a little bit more information about it here, but
It's at 2,000, right? 1,000. I don't get the 1,000. I don't pay that much attention. I probably should. I don't see that big of a deal. I mean, it's, I guess, I don't know, more the institutional people.
You are looking at the moon as we have our Electron rocket ready on the launch
guys, what's the
pad
volume
at Launch
like on that?
Complex 1 in New Zealand as we prepare to launch
I can hear just
our
fine.
68th Electron to space and second mission in
Chat,
less
let me
than
know if you
48
want it
hours.
turned
It
up,
is
turned down.
T-minus 14 minutes, 16 seconds in the countdown to launch for Symphony in the Stars, a commercial mission headed to low Earth orbit with a single satellite on board. And my name is Muriel Baker. It is good to be with you.
And I'm Kim Thompson. It's great to be here with another Electron launch, this time from Pad B at our launch site. We are aiming for the first available opportunity within tonight's launch window at 7:08 p.m. local time or 07:08 UTC. Operations have been progressing smoothly throughout the day, and the weather has been cooperating nicely so far throughout the count and is expected to remain clear at T0.
Now, tonight, Electron is headed to a 650-kilometer low Earth orbit at a 96-degree inclination with the first of 2 satellites that we're flying this year across 2 dedicated missions for the satellite operator that is on board. It's also said to be part of our fastest launch turnaround yet from LC-1. We were here just yesterday on the next pad over with the Get the Hawk Out of Here mission that launched at 5:28 a.m. yesterday. Now counting down to launch tonight, set for 7:08 p.m. local time. We are just 13 minutes away from launching this back-to-back mission. And that means we are closing in on the go, no-go poll set to be run by tonight's launch director, Julia Wembacher.
We've got operators on console in 2 locations, our Range Control Center on the Mahia Peninsula at the launch site and our Mission Control Center here in Auckland. Tonight's mission is being led, as Muriel said, by our launch director, Julia Wembacher from MCC, and she's about to check in with each operator on their readiness for launch. From the stage operator monitoring the tanks and structures, avionics watching over Electron's electronic systems, to the range safety monitoring the range at LC-1, it is integral for each team member to advise their final status. Let's hand it over to Julia and the team in Mission and Range Control and listen in.
And to all operators, LD and mission code, we are proceeding now with the go, no-go sequence. Stage.
Stages go.
Avionics.
Avionics is go.
GNC.
GNC is go.
Recon.
Recon is go.
T1.
T1 is go.
GC.
GC is go.
PLS.
PLS is go.
RSO.
RSO is go.
MET.
MET is go.
MM.
MM is go.
LD sub.
LD sub is go.
The go, no-go sequence is complete. We're currently T-minus 11 minutes and 17 seconds in counting. We are go for terminal count auto sequence at T-minus 10 minutes. From this time, the 3-word procedure is in effect.
Great, I can just go to bed.
Well, that is exactly what we want to hear. Greens across the board from the launch operations team there. That poll confirms we are go for launch. Now we have a 2-hour window of opportunity tonight. So if there is a hold for any reason in the remaining 10 minutes to launch, we have almost 2 hours to reset the clock.
2-hour launch
Otherwise,
window.
time now to take you through our launch vehicle on the pad for tonight's mission. Electron is launching on a south-southwest trajectory from LC-1 at a 96-degree inclination. And the rocket on your screen is our small lift carbon composite orbital launch vehicle capable of carrying up to 320 kilograms of payload. Electron stands at 18 meters or 59 feet tall and is made of carbon fiber reinforced polymer, otherwise known as carbon composite. And we use this material throughout the vehicle's first stage, second stage, and fairing, as well as for the rocket's internal tanks and its payload platform, the kick stage, that's found within that nose cone.
Well, powering this rocket, we have 2 types of propulsion systems across Electron. Staying at the top of the rocket, it's our Curie propulsion system, which powers Electron's kick stage once we're in space. We designed it specifically to provide the kick stage with precise orbital insertion and maneuvering capabilities for the payloads it carries, so that when we can reach each mission's desired orbit with high accuracy. The kick stage's operation is fully autonomous through its guidance and navigation system, which means Curie can start up and shut down even while out of sight of global ground stations.
Now, the engine behind our main propulsion system across Electron's first and second stages is the Rutherford. We've got 9 of these on the bottom of the first stage and a 10th vacuum version with an expanded nozzle that is optimized for space on the second stage. Now, all versions of Rutherford run an electric pump-fed cycle that is controlled by batteries, and the engine uses liquid oxygen and kerosene for its propellant mix.
Yes, and it's that liquid oxygen, which is the reason why Electron has white stripes as it fuels up on the launch pad. It's where the propellant's super cold temperature causes moisture on the outside of the rocket to freeze. It's also a good level measure visually to know whether Electron's propellant tanks are full and ready for launch, which, judging by what we're looking at here and where the clock is in the countdown, tells us we're in the final moments of launch preparations before liftoff.
Stage LD mission code.
LD stage.
Please proceed with sequence 58, stage terminal checks.
Copy sequence 58 and work.
GCLD mission code.
LDGC.
Please proceed with sequence 59, launch pad ready.
Copy and work.
All pump.
Tonight's back-to-back launch will be our 10th Electron mission this year, the majority of which have been for satellite operators that are deploying the next generation of constellations to low Earth orbit. And we've been ramping up Electron's launch cadence to meet the demand for regular, reliable, and dedicated access to space that lets those constellation operators launch when and to where exactly it is that they need to place their next satellite.
Here's why and how Electron has become the go-to for constellation deployment across multiple missions.
So this is where Electron really, comes into its own, as we're able to, take the spacecraft and the customer and build their constellation spacecraft by spacecraft and put them exactly where they need to be for the longest lifetime and the most effective economics. There's two ways to get to orbit. One way is through a rideshare where you agglomerate a bunch of spacecraft onto one rocket, and the other way is to go and do it in a dedicated fashion, more like Electron, where you put a singular spacecraft on the top of the rocket and you get it exactly to where you want to go. Now, the one thing that we've seen over time is that rideshare missions have proved really, really important for initial customers to go there and put one spacecraft on orbit and kind of get a proof of concept. And then after that, we find more often than not, they'll come to Rocket Lab and request a bulk buy of Electron launches in order to deploy their constellation. And what that means is that they're able to accurately place each one of those spacecraft exactly where they need to be to build that constellation in the most commercial manner possible.
You can think about it as kind of like an Uber service. So we'll customize our missions to suit the customer's needs. We launch when they need and to exactly where they need to go to. Any special requirements that they have, we'll even engineer new processes to make that happen. We've created new guidance algorithms to be able to launch some of our upcoming missions.
Yeah, we have a saying within Rocket Lab is once you fly Electron, you never go back. And that's proven to be true. Customers come to us because we have just such great control over the accuracy of the position of the spacecraft and great control over the timing. We can put the spacecraft exactly where it needs to be, exactly when it needs to be. So customers can build their constellations quickly with us and also very accurately.
If they're wanting to build up a constellation from scratch, a lot of customers have an orbital plane requirement. So with target right ascension of the ascending node or longitude of the ascending node. So for any satellite or sets of satellites, we can get the spacing between them exactly how the customer wants.
Well, people care about dedicated because time is money. And deploying the constellation to exactly where it needs to be, over the area where the density of population or the density of services is super important. I think a lot of people think just space is space, but it absolutely is not. Every satellite has a postcode, if you will. Every satellite has a place that it is ideally suited to be to provide the best service to everybody.
You can imagine that would be talking within kilometers, tens of kilometers when we're talking accuracy. When customers come with us, usually they request on apogee and perigee plus minus 15 kilometers and on inclination plus minus 0.15 degrees. What Electron usually achieves is actually within a couple of kilometers on the apogee and perigee, and on the inclination, we're accurate to usually the second decimal place. Our best to date was for flight 50. On the apogee, we were 8 meters, the perigee 3 meters, and the inclination was plus minus 0 degrees.
We are looking forward to launching more satellites for more constellation customers as the year progresses.
Otherwise, a check-in on the clock, and we are now at T-minus 3 minutes, 49 seconds and counting to launch with Electron. So in just a few moments, the countdown will be covered by the rocket's onboard flight computer from T-minus 2 minutes. And then final checks are completed autonomously by Electron as it prepares for liftoff, though it will continue to receive liquid oxygen into its propellant tanks up until about T-minus 1 minute and 30 seconds. We'll know that's been completed when we hear a call out from the mission control operator that the lock system is in recirculation.
After that, we should hear the call out that the rocket's first and second stages are fully pressurized for launch. And this happens around 30 seconds or so after LOX loading is complete. Then it's over to the 10-second countdown by our launch director, with Electron's Rutherford engines on the first stage set to ignite at T-minus 3 seconds. It's time to bring up the mission control audio channels now to hear our operators call outs live as they happen. So we'll be back with you after liftoff.
Lock the auto sequence and confirm.
Locked.
Then we can please confirm all flight computer ASCOs are green.
All ASCOs are green.
To all operators, we are go for auto sequence start at T-minus 2 minutes. LDs go for launch.
How are we feeling, Chris?
I'm still awake. When she said it was a 2-hour window, my heart sank. I was like, please, please do not delay this thing. But, better safe than sorry, as always. But yeah. What is the fastest turnaround we've done as far as 2 launches?
Vehicle is fully on internal power. FTS is green and enabled for flight.
Have we done?
Yeah, we did one out of New Zealand, and then like a day or so later, we did one out of Wallops.
Have we ever done it from the same launch complex, though?
Man.
LOX load is complete. System is in recirculation.
You promised I wouldn't have to think too much. I just had to be awake.
Guys, chat, let me know what was our quickest turnaround time when it comes to same launch complex.
Anti-geysering is disabled.
Stage 1 and Stage 2 tanks are pressed for flight.
High flow engine purge enabled.
This is the longest 2 minutes ever.
She should be going for liftoff anyway.
Yeah, we look good.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Beginning pitch over.
Stage 1 propulsion nominal.
There goes our Electron rocket with a clean liftoff from LC1, now on its way to space for the 68th time. And we are steadily climbing in speed and altitude as Electron comes up to max Q, or maximum aerodynamic pressure. It's one of the first milestones the rocket has to pass through to get to low Earth orbit, and we're standing by for it now.
Approaching max Q. Cleared next queue.
All right, we are clear through max Q there as Electron continues onto space, and everything is looking nominal across the rocket's speed and altitude. Now that we're past max Q, the next milestones coming up are main engine cutoff on the booster and stage separation. So very soon we can expect to see all 9 Rutherford engines on the first stage power down and shut off in preparation for what comes next.
Just a couple of seconds after MECO, the first and second stages will separate to lose the dead weight of the first stage. And then the second stage Rutherford engine will ignite and power up to propel the second stage onward to orbit. And those events are now coming up very shortly.
Man, that thing is fast.
That must be a
Stage
sensor, not a
1
sticker.
holding nominal. Stand by for MECO in approximately 30 seconds.
Because it's on this one as well.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe so. Could be.
15 seconds till staging.
Engine burnout detect mode.
MECO confirmed.
Stage separation confirmed.
All right, there she goes.
That was the sound of an electric pump-fed rocket engine in space. How cool. Thank you to our flight software team for that one. And a beautiful and clean second stage engine startup for Electron. Nice and bright on your screen there. Electron's altitude is now more than 100 kilometers an hour, coming up quickly to the Kármán line as we hit more than 8,000 kilometers an hour on the speed dial.
Everything is going great so far with Electron. With MECO and stage separation cleared, next will be fairing jettison when Electron's nose cone separates and falls away. We might not see it at night, but we should hear it called out in mission control, so let's listen in.
Fairing jettison confirmed.
Nicely done. That's fairing separation confirmed across the nets as Electron continues on nominally. We are now at 130 kilometers in altitude and traveling more than 9,000 kilometers an hour. All is on track with the mission, with another 5 or so minutes to go of engine burn time for the second stage.
Now, if this is Echo Star, what if Brett says?
Hey, we don't know the client of this one, do we?
Nah.
Guidance is looking good so far with the second stage. The plot lines for our planned and actual trajectory are closely matched on the right-hand side of your screen there, which is exactly what we want to see. And now that we are at T plus 4 minutes, 36 seconds into stage 2 flight, we have got just over 4.5 minutes left of engine burn time before we reach SECO and stage separation.
Trying to work out is the trajectory slightly above on the first side.
Well, coming up next for the second stage will be battery hot swap for that Rutherford engine. So every one of these engines uses an electric pump-fed cycle for its propulsion, with batteries used to power its electric motor. But the length of the engine burn time on stage 2 means that the battery pack it starts with will run dry before the engine is due for shutdown. So Electron performs a maneuver called the battery hot swap, and that swaps in a fresh pack of batteries to keep the engine running for full duration. When that happens, you should see the first set of battery packs eject from the second stage and fall away. So let's watch out for that now.
HVB discharge holding nominal, approaching hot swap in roughly 30 seconds. throttling down.
At the moment, mate, this is a one and done booster. They do have plans for reuse going forward with Electron. They have reused a Rutherford engine before,
Battery jettison confirmed.
but no, this is a one and done.
Excellent call out there, and a clean battery hot swap on the second stage. The Rutherford is continuing to power the mission on past 198 kilometers in altitude at speeds of more than 1,600 kilometers an hour, coming up close to the orbital insertion speed for final stage separation in just a few minutes.
And then in regards to the Lyra satellite, yeah, if Tran is right, I don't know how he
AFTS is saved.
found that.
All right, well, that glowing nozzle you can see on
Hang
your
on
screen
again.
is our stage 2 engine, our vacuum optimized Rutherford engine, powering Electron and its payload, now past 201 kilometers in altitude and 19,000 kilometers an hour.
Well, we know how Tran finds stuff. He's a robot, man. He's AI. They all are. They're all robots. They all cheat.
Francisco's our very own robot.
Oh, that's no doubt. I'm pretty sure he's real, though. I'm pretty sure he's real.
Just don't sleep.
No. He's never asleep. He's probably sleeping right now because it's funny that we're awake
Okay, we
for
are
this.
just moments away from the final stage separation between stage 2 and Electron's kick stage, preceded, of course, by the shutdown of the Rutherford engine for SECO, or second engine cutoff. The Rutherford engine on the second stage will throttle down before shutting off completely to allow for clean separation of the stages.
From there, the kick stage will enter a coasting phase around the Earth before we light it up for payload deployment within the hour. But first, let's listen in for that SECO and stage separation call out from Mission Control.
SECO confirmed.
Stage separation confirmed.
And that is SECO confirmed by Mission Control, along with the kick stage also confirmed to have separated into a nominal transfer orbit with its payload. Well done to everyone involved in the mission so far.
Well, from here, we have a bit of a wait until we rejoin the kick stage and its satellite on the opposite side of the planet after its elliptical coast of Earth. Once that happens, the kick stage should be in the prime position to perform a course correction burn that sets its trajectory to a circular orbit for payload deployment.
Join us again then in about 40 minutes or so to see out the final moments of the mission. See you soon.
And then, do you know, I was wondering, were they going to show this part of the mission? Because normally with our confidential customers, they normally cut the stream now. Or is that just with the highly confidential military customers?
I can't remember. My brain is not working. I'm just here in body. I'm not here mentally. I promise you that.
Brett reckons us guys need to have a breakfast beer next time.
Breakfast beer. I'm not sure if I'm that Irish or not. That's breakfast beer. Man, I couldn't get nothing accomplished in life.
I don't know if I've done that. Then we have Clyde. Good morning. Clyde, what time is it where you are from? Shout out to Craig as well. Craig's from the Channel Islands. And Henrik, good morning to you, brother. Chris, are we going to see all-time highs broken next week again? Or would you expect a little bit of a cool off now?
Oh, we just had a successful launch. So we're probably going to pull back. I mean, if you've been following Rocket Lab long enough, well, the last couple of launches, I guess that hasn't been true, but it's not unusual after a successful launch that we see a pullback, and that's probably from people taking profits. It's been a lot different the last week or so. Look at the amount of volume. The amount of volume has been unreal. So it's been a bit harder to kind of predict, especially if you're trying to do swing trades or day trading. That amount of volume, it gets a little tricky. A little tricky.
And you know what? As well, like we done an eVTOL weekly live stream yesterday, and this will tie into RKLB, guys. But we were looking across the whole market, and we were saying it pre-stream. We were like, this market is so hard to predict because it looks like it's starting to get a little bit frothy in some stocks. But then remember back with the tariffs and that you were starting getting people loading into the likes of Coca-Cola, but you're looking at Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola's about $70 now. So it feels like we're firing on all cylinders now. And it's like, do you double down and do what the likes of Olga done and buy into the height of it? Look, she was completely right at the time, and she left her way to the bank following yesterday's move. But it's one of those, sometimes your better time in the market is better than timing the market. And if you just sit in Rocket Lab and wait, good things will happen. We then have Tweener. Love watching dailies, usually on the replay. Appreciate the live stream launches and running through the whole thing. No problem at all. And that's our philosophy here. We will always run through the whole launch. I feel like I'm doing them an injustice, even though it may kill you a little bit, Chris, at 3 o'clock in the morning.
You enjoy the torture. You enjoy the torture. Don't lie. It's fun.
Chris complains now. At the same time, Chris wouldn't not want to be here. Chris was actually up before me today, weren't you, brother? You've been up since have you?
Yeah, I got up right. Actually, woke up just before the alarm, and I was mad because I wanted that extra 5 minutes. But you know, and it had to be. You know, my big dumb head has to be on the camera because I can't be outside because it's too dark. So I can't just get up and walk around and not have to really look at the screen because like I can't see the comments anyway. It's just too small on my phone. So yeah, usually I can just get up and walk around. I hate being on camera. You gotta sit still. You can't scratch your face and move around too much, and it's just not me, man. I'm like a busybody. Once I'm up, I gotta keep going.
Guys, big shout out to Chris for getting up at that time in the morning and then coming straight on camera. Even I would be a bit like, oh, do I have to get up on camera at like that time in the morning? But no, big shout out. Look, he'll probably get me back one day when the likes of New Zealand launch in the morning or
Wallops. We have we should have had a Haste launch, but I believe that there's been some of that stuff has been kind of pushed off because of the ramp up at Wallops. They're trying to get things really going there, so maybe a while before we see another Wallops launch. But yeah, those are typically sometimes 8 or 9 o'clock at night, my time, worst case. And those are usually Haste missions. They'll do them at night. A lot of times they're classified, so we don't even know that they're gonna. We don't get a chance to cover them because we don't even know they're gonna launch until the day after. But there's an Electron launch scheduled for Wallops, and I think that's why they did. I'm not sure. I thought the next the next Hawkeye would have came out of Wallops because their client, Hawkeye 360 is based in Virginia, so that's what made me kind of think that they're holding off on launches out of there. Normally, I would have seen a few more of the sounding rockets, because if you guys don't know, the Navy, Northrop, there's other launches that come out of Wallops, smaller, a lot smaller rockets than like a Haste. But I haven't seen anything like that. And so, yeah, I think they've just kind of halted launching out of Wallops for the time being. And it probably has something to do with, the construction going on out there.
Then I want to give a big shout out to our good friend Scott O. Scott O actually put up the last day. So I think we had something like 8 launches done in total for the year so far, prior. And he said
Yeah,
there's
that
a
was,
potential of up on 20 booked in prior to the end of the year. Could you see 20 launches? No, including this one, like? Chat, please let me know. Oh no, is Crystal there?
I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry. I'm not gonna be able to sit in this chair for so long. Yeah. I mean, we hit 10 in just about half the year.
Yeah.
We do tend to ramp up. At least it seems like we ramp up in December. It just could be my misconception of my thought process. 20 is possible. I mean, very possible. They've added a few to the manifest for the year, and that'd be great. I mean, if we don't hit 20, I'm not going to cry. Yeah, I really want to see Neutron successful. So if there's a delay or a change in cadence as far as Electron, and it's because of Neutron, not going to hurt my feelings.
And then looking across the actual whole space industry, I'm going to ask you again, is Neutron worrying you when we come to the end of the whole testing program? Because if you think the SLS booster blew up, we've had Starship blow up on the it's too early in the morning, brother.
No, I know what you're gonna say. I know what you're talking about there.
Not the hot fire there.
Yeah, it's there's Beck said in the very beginning, they're gonna get the hardest parts out of the way at first. And from day one, I've always assumed or considered the fact that it being a brand new engine, I think the Archimedes engine, that's my biggest concern. As long as they're good to go with that and we don't have any setbacks on that, anything can happen. Accidents happen all the time. I think they're taking extra precautions than, well, that's just kind of Beck's way. I mean, he likes to test and test and then over test until something blows up. So he knows how far he can actually push something. So far, what they have achieved is passed with flying colors to this point. So there's always going to be little bugs to fix and adjust, and it can go either way. But I do, man. The way they do things, and this is not their first rocket. This is not the first time they've tried to do a lot of what they're doing. Yeah, it's on a new rocket, a bigger rocket, but they have a lot of experience. And I believe in the team, and I do believe that we should have a successful first attempt. Now, what a person, calls I'm not expecting them to come and land back on the pad. I don't even know if they'll make it. I think they'll be fine, at least through liftoff. They've done this 68 times now with Electron. Starship's a lot different. it has a lot more things that can go wrong with it. It's not built the same. It's not designed the same. I think that what happened with that thing on the pad was just kind of a freak accident. That could happen with anybody. That could happen with Neutron. But I think they're putting in place all the things they need to make sure that they can avoid those if possible. And that's why you don't rush these things. That's why they've had the delays in the past. They want to make sure they're going to get it right. It's a very sensitive area. You don't want big, basically cruise missiles going crazy and off the pad and blowing up when you're that close to Washington D.C. So, yeah, I think they're going to make sure that they've checked and rechecked all the boxes. And worst case, they go to launch and they have to scrub it and stand down and go back and do some adjustments for testing. But man, it's hard to say. I'd be surprised to see something like what happened with the Starship. I would. That'd be very surprising. Oh, I'm gonna still be here. I'm just gonna step away for a second, but I can
You're
still
all
hear
good,
you.
brother. And then we have Brett coming in 20 plus the 8, though. Yeah, I think that's what Scott was alluding to. It was 20 plus the 8. We're at 10 now, so yeah, what, 18 more throughout the year? That would be absolutely insane. Is that including the Neutron launch, or is it 17 plus Neutron? Brett, would you be able to jump in and let me know the guys?
That's what Scotty was talking about? Was 28?
28,
we sure about that?
20 plus the 8. He was on about Haste and normal Electron missions, but yeah, 20 extra missions are booked in for 2025. And it's not including Neutrons, Brett saying.
No, that's not including Neutron. You know what? I did see that from Scotto because it just kind of on his post. It was scrolling through what was on the manifest. It just didn't really hit me. I guess reality's just now setting in with me as far as the actual number. That'd be a pretty major ramp up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Brett said, as Scotto said, some won't be ready. And that's the thing. It will be a customer issue, as it always is with Rocket Lab. It's never Rocket Lab's fault when it comes to delaying the actual launch time, unless it's to do with weather or something and they reschedule within the next week or so. It's customers that push them back. And I think that is the name of the game when it comes to launch. We've seen Rocket Lab quickly able to squeeze in launches like they did Hawkeye the last day. They squeezed that in between this, and it's getting to be such a well-oiled machine. And to catch the like a Falcon 9, where they're launching more or less every day, it seems like.
Well, they have.
That's exactly how they're going to run.
If you've seen, inside their factory, they've got electrons just lined up and ready to go. Like you said, 9 times out of 10, no one's waiting on us. We're waiting on the client. Someone alluded to it. They're going to be reusing these rockets. That they have tried reusability. I mean, they've tried to catch one of these things out of the air with a freaking helicopter, which was a lot of fun to watch. Pretty crazy. But when you start factoring in all the costs that it takes to actually recover an Electron, they just haven't seen it's not really worth it. It's not like these things are super, super expensive for them to build. They're not spending, 6-8 months to build just one of them. They can crank them out pretty quick. So, you might see them reuse some parts of it, like the Rutherford engines maybe. But again, the same thing, it's one of those things where is it really worth taking the risk of losing a whole mission, losing a satellite when you can just, I mean, they're basically just printing these things off of a computer almost. It's crazy. They've got it down. I mean, they've really got it down to a rocket science per se. All right, that was kind of stupid, but you know what I mean. I don't see them doing and working so much with reusability on Electron, at least not right now. Maybe they get bored later on, they just want a new project, but they have enough in their hands right now with Neutron. And that's when, and they're making money, especially like the Haste, they make really good money off those missions. It's like I said, it could be more of a risk trying to reuse some of that stuff. And again, the cost. I mean, you got to have barges, you got to have employees, you have people, cranes lifting that stuff out of the water. You got to refurbish it. That takes a lot of time. That you don't just bring it in out of the ocean and wash it down with a water hose and go, hey, let's relaunch. It's not that simple. A lot of stuff goes into it. So the amount of time and money they put into something like that, I don't know all the numbers, but I'm sure that does factor into the fact if it's worth being reused or not.
Did you actually see yesterday Astroforge commented under RKLB's post, basically cheering them on? Well done, guys.
No, I missed that.
Astroforge, if you remember, they are a space mining, aren't they? Is that Astroforge?
Yeah, that's my homework for the weekend. I was supposed to start like 3 days ago, and I think it's probably Francisco that first brought that to my attention. I could be wrong. It's just easier to say Francisco all the time because that's where I get a lot of it from when it comes to that off the wall kind of stuff. But yeah, space mining. That does sound fun. That sounds fun.
Let me know in the chat. Who's bullish on space mining? Is it something you want to see RKLB pursue in a big way? Or would you just be happy with them working with the likes of Astroforge? Space mining seems like a great concept, and I can see the appeal of it. It's one of those, it seems like at the moment, a lot of it is based on theory. With a company like RKLB, could they make it reality?
Oh man, it's Rocket Lab, dude. That was Rocket Lab. Anything's possible. No, I had to step out. I had to get a drink. It's I'm a little parched. This is not a beer. This is Arizona iced tea, everyone. So just before I get any crap in the chats, it's a little early for the beer. It's only 3:40 here, but I needed a little bit of I needed a little bit of something to get me going here. I'm not really big on soda. Just not a big soda guy.
Actually,
coffee
guys,
now would be great.
Do let me know. Is there any guest you want us to interview as well? We have Amperman and Stock Meters coming on. We can get Dave G, Scott, or Matt Money back if you'd like to see them back. We have a regular Jacob, Francisco. We can get the likes of Space Ghost back, Space Derivatives back. Is there anyone you actually really would like to see again, or is there any new? It doesn't even have to be RKLB specific. ASTS, absolutely anyone. We do have Ashley Vance coming on.
Yeah, we do have Ashley Vance coming on. That's going to be a few weeks out. It may be difficult for Scott O. He's got a baby. Baby might be here by now. They were very close, and I don't know about you guys, but when you have a brand new baby, that's where all your focus is. Days go by, and it seems like minutes go by. So it may be a while before Scott O comes back on. I do have someone else coming on in a few weeks. And I want to make sure that before I even announce that, and it's just another one of the guys and that we all follow in and respect. And like, he has actually, technically, he's come on once. And this might give it away, but we were live one time, and he was having dinner with his family, and that's what they were listening to was a live show, which is crazy to me. And he called in and he said, "Hey, just want you to know, you guys, we're all listening. Say hi to the family, you know." Put us right on the spot. But there was, yeah, Ashley Vance, and there's one or two more I am working on currently, but again, until I get a confirmation. But yeah, it's
Clive,
fun
we have
having new.
Anpan Man coming on tomorrow. And then Tran. Tran could be an interesting one. I don't know how comfortable Tran is speaking on camera.
He may be like like Muttbox. Muttbox, he's great. He does all this information, gives us all this great insight. But it's just not everyone likes to go on live. Believe me, I know. I hate the fact I got to sit here in this chair. It's not easy, just doing this. But anyone, it's open for them. So if you guys just want to come on for 5 or 10 minutes, you're more than welcome.
And guys, if anyone wants to rise and shine out of bed this time of the morning, wherever you are, or it could be evening if you're in the likes of New Zealand, jump on in, have a chat with us. Nice.
I need to call Francisco and wake him up. Somebody should call Francisco and wake him up. That's what we should do. That'd be fun.
Surely he hasn't missed a launch. I think Francisco was going to stay up tonight. Maybe he is not following our stream and he's in the mainstream.
He would no telling with Francisco. He's probably watching 4 different streams from different parts of the world and doing something that we don't even understand yet. No telling what he's doing, but I hear he can't be sleeping. He's a robot.
Then Brett, looking forward to seeing more images from Wallops Vantage. Greta having someone post progress pictures. Chris, have you been on to Wallops recently?
Not recently. Wallops Vantage is actually they're going to be at the launch, or not the launch party, but the party out on Wallops that we're going to have out there, and we are getting very close to setting a date. And once that date is set, I'll be, obviously we'll have to take deposits, and I'll be going out and, well, I'm going to drive out there and pay for everything once all of those deposits hit my account. I got to get some, I got to find one more caterer and not interview, but just go and check out. There's a place called Woody's Barbecue. It's up in Chickateague, which is just right above Wallops. We're going to have them cater for one night. I'm going to go up there and sample all the goods, of course. So I'll be going out to Wallops hopefully within the next 30 to 60 days. Probably sooner, but that really just depends on the timing as far as when you actually set a date.
We need to get a date set, actually.
I already had a date set. But we have a special guest that's going to be showing up for the party, and we're going to try and work around that person's schedule. And it might not happen. I mean, life can be, difficult at times, but with that comes even more. So we're going to be patient and give them some time to kind of sort out the schedule. It should be around the same time frame, somewhere around the last week of September, give or take a week. But again, exact dates have not been set. And if you guys, there are a few spaces open. It's going to be limited. I mean, this is our first year doing it. We do plan on doing this every year. The majority of the people I've spoken with that have, hotels They're excited. They all but really one, coincidentally, and they gave us just free rule. I called and said, hey, look, how many rooms do you have? And they're like, oh, we've got 38 rooms or 45 rooms. I was like, well, do you got more? But it is gonna be limited. So again, there is a few spots available if you guys want to go and attend the party. Just either message me or Liam, and we'll give you the details we have. But there are quite a few people that's been interested in pretty much RSVP'd from months and months ago. So it will be, first come, first serve. And once that number's cut off, best thing I can do is give you guys, other locations to check out as far as hotels and everything. But when it comes to the party, when you go and you say, yeah, I want to get in, that includes both your hotel and includes the catering. So, travel. I mean, some people are coming from different parts of the world. I think one person said it was like a 25-hour flight. Yeah, can't cover the flights. Your travel, getting there, all that's going to be on you guys. I've got to do some traveling myself. I'm 4 hours away. But as far as closest airports, other nearby hotels, all those, just different amenities, hit us up in the chats, give you all those details. That's not a problem. The actual limit as far as people, it has not been set yet. It depends on the exact location that is chosen for the party, which is still up in the air. It is still up in the air. The one I originally had picked out, well, let's just say that, look, I'm a business person, right? I have a business. And if I tell you I'm going to call you or email you back within 48 hours, I certainly don't wait 2 or 3 weeks. Time is money. Time is money. And was basically told that they don't like large groups reserving their whole location out because they're worried that no one's going to show up. I don't think they realize how passionate this community is and how dedicated this community is. So they're lost. They're lost. We're going to have a lot of fun, though. We are going to have a lot of fun. I can't wait to announce all the details about it. I really can't. I've been working on this for quite a while. And if you don't know me, you'll get to know me. I'm not big, super high-tech person, not big on computers. There's a lot more to this than I realized. A lot of organization. And again, I'll do my best to, provide an avenue for as many people to show up as possible. I'm sure there's always other options, And again, every year we plan on it growing. So I'm open to ideas and suggestions. Nothing is all written out in stone. Most of it is, but again, open-minded. Hit me up anytime in the chats or DM me. I can't see chats right now, but yeah.
Guys, do we think this is 100% Acosta? It does look like Lyra in the badge. When it comes to the name Symphony in the Stars, it's something like a Greek translation of Lyra is something about symphony and harmony in the night sky or something like that, wasn't it? It does seem like it is Echo Star. But guys, if you are very much in agreement, tell me. But if you're in disagreement, please jump in and tell me. Because I'd like to know everyone else's theory. We were jumping down some mad rabbit holes when it comes to it. And look, we admit we probably were wrong with most of them. This does look more or less bang on that. It should be Echo Star. Chris.
That's the fun part. That's the fun part, though, when we don't know and everybody gets to where they're trying to figure out exactly who the client is. We all do it. It's fun. But but it does send you down rabbit holes, and you're going to be wrong more times than you're right. But often what happens is we uncover something that we overlooked. It happens all the time. Astroforge, that came up because of, a lot of people trying to figure out who this client was. And we all take stabs in the dark. The funny thing is that a lot of times it could be 100% wrong, but you can have all the right reasons. All the right reasons make all the sense in the world. That's who the client is. But it does open up your eyes to, wow, space is a lot bigger. There's a lot more companies out there that are yet to be, revealed or learned about, at least in the stock community. I mean, if they're a private company, we're probably not going to know about them. That's how we learn about them. I think it was GY Kiwi, Sean. He got me going down a rabbit hole on symphonics, and man, I found out all kinds of crazy stuff. I couldn't even comprehend half of it. That's a smart guy, man. He did help me out. He sent me some good info. I didn't find a direct link to what they're doing now, but that's just another future project. That's another possibility for space later on.
Let's assume it is EchoStar. So what are the possibilities? Well, EchoStar provide what? A bit of everything. 5G, internet communications. Like, you're sort of getting into a Starlink and ASTS sort of mix. As big as their constellation that they want to get up there, look, I'd have to actually dive into the numbers. Is it a potential customer we could see on a Neutron in a big way? Potentially. I just want to know why they're confidential. Like, why would EchoStar want to be confidential that badly?
That's a good question. I don't understand why. I mean, I understand if it's military, but someone did make a good point to me. If they might be just worried about competitors, learning too much about what they're doing too fast, and that might have something to do with it. I've never really bought into that idea, but I guess it makes sense. Maybe they just did it on purpose to screw with us. Maybe that's all it was about. It'd be fun. Let's just not tell them what it is and just let them guess for a week or two. Go crazy in the chats. Get their mind off of everything else.
Let me have a quick look into EchoStar.
I thought if I put my glasses on, I'd actually be able to see the comments. I still can't see them, so I don't need to wear these things. Thankfully.
On June 7th, it says EchoStar is considering a Chapter 11 bankruptcy filing as the telecommunication services firm vies to shield a cache of wireless spectrum licenses. Is the possibilities as big as we're thinking?
I mean,
they're in.
I'll be honest with you, after going back and forth with some of the regular suspects, and then seeing what Tram posted, and then after all the research you and I went through that ended up going nowhere, I just kind of gave up, and I was like, you know what, they'll tell us. They're going to have to tell us at some point. I'm doing hours and, not hours, actually, yeah, hours of research and going through all the different messages on X. Sometimes it just gets to be crazy. And sometimes I think you can spend too long on one thing, and like you said, go down too many rabbit holes and start missing out on a few other things. So yeah, I had to pull back, and there's so much news coming out in the last, it's almost every day with this company. When we first started doing this daily, I was like, there's no way we're going to have something to talk about every day. And there's something new every single day with this company. It's insane.
I think I found out why we're confidential. So, 11 hours ago, EchoStar delays bankruptcy threat after Trump pushes for FCC resolution. Look, they can't be seen as launching if they're under fire for bankruptcy, and it is about the gigahertz spectrum.
That makes sense.
That makes sense, doesn't it?
That makes sense. Yeah, that does make sense. Huh.
So I believe more than ever that it has to be EchoStar. And the reason they're confidential, I believe, is because they are very close to bankruptcy. And I actually don't think it may be on Rocket Lab's side on why they're confidential. Maybe it was Rocket Lab that said, look, we don't want to be seen as launching your... But then why would they put them on the badge? I don't know. It's hard to say, but yeah, I honestly believe that's why it's confidential. We're talking about bankruptcy. And then possibilities wise, okay, so maybe we're not looking at a threat of going into competition with SpaceX and ASTS. Maybe we're going into competition with the local, I don't know.
Yeah, that ASTS, man, that's another thing. I can't remember if it was Ampan or Stock sent quite a bit of info on them. I guess just trying to get us prepared for Sunday. And I almost got a headache. I was like, man, I'm doing way too much of this research. I need to back off for a little bit. But thankfully, those guys know their stuff. They've been doing this and covering this a lot longer. Just as diligent as we are with Rocket Lab. So that's why it's best to have those kind of people where we can bring other people on and we don't have to know everything about the company ourselves and let them be the experts they are. And yeah, just kind of let them steal the show. I know we're going to learn a lot. We're definitely going to learn a lot.
Guys, I'm about to put a post out on X. Please let me know your thoughts on it. I'll read it out to you in a minute. So I'm putting out on X. I wonder if Rocket Lab's confidential customer EchoStar has remained confidential as we are very close to filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Guys, please jump into X and let me know your response on that. Look, could be firing down a completely wrong rabbit hole here. It just seems very strange. It's a bit like, do you know that we're saying if it is Amazon and the reaction wheels, why have we remained confidential? This is another confidential customer. If it is EchoStar, I don't know why you are confidential unless it's for a reason like this. Look, if I'm wrong, hold my hands up, but in my head, that makes sense.
You know, I saw an article. I can't remember where it came from, but it was talking about. It was having to do with the fact that Pentagon and Space Force are looking at other alternatives outside of SpaceX, just for national security reasons. And in that same post, in that column or whatever it was, God, I'm so tired. Sorry, but there is a LEO constellation that is in the works for the U.S. military. And it's not part of the Golden Dome. That has been in the works for a while. That is contracted to be launched by SpaceX. So originally, I thought that those reaction wheels was for a more of a defensive or military side, but I didn't hear anything about anything actually being built or done. It was just speculation, and because of the fact it was classified, So it's still possible. I mean, yeah, it does look more like Amazon, but if they are building out this constellation, I forget how many of them, but it's quite a few. It's not just 2 or 3.
Of our Symphony in the Stars mission, we are preparing to deploy a single satellite to a 650-kilometer circular Earth orbit, and we are only a few moments away from that separation event on the kick stage.
We've otherwise had another nominal Electron launch this evening, lifting off from Launch Complex 1 at 7:08 p.m. local time. Now, after the kick stage was separated to its transfer orbit, we have been in a coast phase around Earth for the last 40 minutes or so. So up next is Curie engine ignition on the kick stage. Let's check in with Mission Control for the last few milestones.
Could Rocket Lab acquire EchoStar if they get this spectrum with SpaceX sort of quashed?
Curie ignition
Oh,
confirmed.
Cool.
There it is from Mission Control, successful Curie engine ignition. And so we heard from our GNC team earlier in the show about how Curie is responsible for our pinpoint payload deployment on orbit within 10 meters of target sometimes, which in the expansive space is incredible. Now, it's only small. It's no bigger than a coffee mug, like you can see here, but it is massively capable. And we can circularize orbits like we are doing today, but we can also perform orbital plane and inclination changes and leverage it to avoid tricky areas of solar radiation like the Van Allen belt.
It's also responsible for our re-entry missions with our Pioneer spacecraft. We've successfully executed 3 capsule re-entries, touching down once in Utah and twice in South Australia. Today is all about circularization, though. The Curie will burn for just under 2 minutes total, rounding out our orbit to a 650-kilometer perigee and a 650-kilometer apogee. Shortly after the engine shuts down, we'll be ready for payload deployment and the separation system will initiate, delivering our customer satellite to their desired location.
Brett says apparently we wouldn't be able to acquire EchoStar because they're worth too much, according to ChatGPT. But it was his fault last week. But the thing is, if you look at the likes of Mynaric, how good was Peter Beck at getting that deal done? If they're that close to filing for bankruptcy.
Curie cutoff confirmed.
Nominal final orbit achieved.
There we go. Everything went smoothly for Curie startup and shutdown, and now we are just moments away from payload deployment for this mission. So let's listen into Mission Control to hear that final milestone for Electron.
I can't wait to see the jokes we're going to see on X, because the next mission is mission 69. So I can only imagine what these guys are going to come up with.
Payload deployment confirmed.
Mission success confirmed with payload deployment complete by the kick stage. That is music to our ears for this Symphony in the Stars mission. Congratulations to our customer for tonight's mission, and all the best with satellite commissioning in the days to come.
To the Electron team, congratulations on launch number 68. It won't be long before we're back on the pad for our next mission with Electron, so keep your eyes on our website and social media for updates on the next launch and any other Rocket Lab news. Otherwise, thanks again for joining us for another Electron launch. Until next time, this is Rocket Lab Mission Control signing off.
Guys,
all right.
Do let me know if you like what we're doing here with Rocket Lab Daily. If you like what we're doing here with following not only every single launch, but every single launch from start to finish. please bang that subscribe button, because look, the more of you we have in the community, the easier of a pull we have to get the interviews that we need. We will eventually be interviewing Beck, and when that day comes, Chris, I will fly over there and shake your hand and say, baby, we did it.
Maybe we get to do it on Wallops. Maybe we get to do it on Wallops. You never know. You never know what can happen out there. That's gonna be a lot of fun. And I'm not trying to hint at anything, guys. I know we said we had a special guest. Beck is not our special guest. I don't have friends like that. I wish I did. No, nothing like that. I'd love to be able to get onto the actual facility and see things up close. I doubt that kind of stuff is even an option. Wallops is a different beast. Just to launch out of there, you got to have Pentagon clearance. So I don't know what all the rules and regulations are about just letting idiots like me just wander around the facility. I probably wouldn't let it happen. Not that I'm any kind of danger to anybody, but yeah, no promises, no plan of that going on. Unfortunately, I'd love for it, but you never know. You never know. I didn't think that I'd be doing this, honestly. So anything can happen.
Guys, if you do like the project we're doing too, we do cover Opening Bell Live Monday to Friday. Had a bit of fun yesterday. Free stock reviews on absolutely every stock. Guys, my name's Liam, one of the host brothers here. Him and good friend Christopher Bell up bright and early. Well, not bright, but early at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Early.
Covered the launch from start to finish. Chris, any closing thoughts?
I'm not going to remember most of this, so when I wake up tomorrow, I'll check the chats. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. I know it's late for some of you guys, early for some of you, but it never ceases to amaze me. There's always people up watching these launches, even after 68, and I'd imagine after the next 68, it's going to be pretty much the same. I never get bored of it. I still get excited. So, yeah, thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Get some sleep. Have a great weekend. We'll be back on. I don't even know what time or when. I don't even know what day it is right now. So I'll let Liam control all that. I can just go back to bed and go to sleep.
Yeah. So, guys, I think out of respect for our good friends at Rocket Lab Weekly, we probably won't stream. Look, if you really want us to stream, we can stream. But we ain't streaming anywhere near the time they're streaming at. Do let us know in the comments if you want us to stream later. It'll be quite a bit earlier. Look, I think Chris, myself, and yourself need a bit of family time where, look, I feel sorry for my missus that I am streaming every single day. So I think we need to show her a bit of love today, and yeah, I think follow up with Anpan Man and start meetups on Sunday. I
actually did have an idea for tomorrow. I've been working on because we don't have to stream tomorrow. I can always wait, but I'd be just fine with going. And as far as family, matter of fact, I need to make a phone call. My daughters should be probably just landing in Germany. So
Germany are even ahead of me, I'd say, aren't they? Or is it the same time?
I think I think it's really close to the same time where they're at. Maybe like an hour, maybe an hour difference. But yeah, I'm a free man all weekend. My daughters are over there visiting my son. I'm happy they're going to have a blast. Unfortunately, Dad has to work, as always. But my son will be here in September anyway, for about 2 weeks. So as much as I would like to have gone over and just spend that extra money, miss out on work, just send the kids over, let them have fun. And so I'm free all weekend. I am looking forward to Sunday, but if we want to go tomorrow, I do have some things prepared. If not, it can wait. It's not a big deal.
Guys, let us know if you want to see us. What I could do, even I could get one of my hostler brothers to cover it. Guys, yeah, my name's Liam. One host brothers here for launch number 68, ready and prepared for launch number 69 at any point at this stage. Chris, until later, tomorrow, the next day, I don't know. I'll see you then.
Sounds good, mate. Thanks, brother.